Alright, what's up my Durance Cypher? Welcome back to another training video. If you're new, my name is Eric. I'm a USCO Ultra Running Certified Coach, and I love talking about running and helping other runners like you become better runners. And I do this by sharing tips on videos like this. So today's topic is going to be following up to the 50K video, is how long should my longest run be leading up to my first 50 miler. So I just did a video on the 50K, so if you haven't watched that, you can click here if you're training for a 50K. But if you're training for a 50 miler and you have that question, how long should my longest run be leading up to it, or training, my longest training run, then this is the video to watch. But before we get into that, I want to invite you to join the My Durance Life Trail and Ultra Running Mastermind. This is the first and only mastermind revolving around trail and ultra running, where not only do you get live training from me, but you also get access to the top ultra running athletes and coaches and nutritionists and physical therapists in our sport. So you get instant feedback to your personal questions. We share on a topic of interest and then go to a live Q&A after that. So we've had people on there like Jeff Browning, Mike McKnight, Sarah Silver, Joe Corstione, just the list goes on. Those are the people just coming to the top of my head right now. So if you're interested in that, it's going to blow the socks off of your trail and ultra running. Think of it this way, that everything that we've learned through our journey, you get access to immediately. So you don't have to go through that trial and error. You learn the tricks of the trade right off the bat, so you can start implementing and improving right away. So go to myendurancelife.com, click on the button that says join the team, and you'll get your invite. You can actually start for free, and I throw in a bunch of other free trainings in there when you join. So that's myendurancelife.com, click on the button that says join the team, and love to see you in the Trail and Ultra Running Mastermind. Guaranteed. I'm just stoked on it. Okay. With that out of the way, today's topic: how long should my longest run be leading up to my first 50 miler? The reason I'm making this is because if this is your first time running a 50 miler, or maybe you've attempted it and didn't make it, or you've run it before and you just want to make sure that you're on par with training, that's why I'm making this, because I get this question from time to time from my athletes or people who are new to the My Durance Life community. So I'm going to make this as short and as sweet as possible, but still give you some tips on how to nail it, and just also training tips leading up to this long run, so you have a great long training run and also a great race, your 50 miler, when you get there. Okay, so first and foremost, I recommend training by hours and not mileage, just because it takes the pressure off of getting it over with. If you're like me and you know that, okay, all I have to do today is run 15 miles or 10 miles, if I know I have stuff to do later that day, it's hard for me to slow down because I'm thinking about the other stuff and just getting the run over with so I can continue on. But if I'm running if I have a 2-hour prescribed run or a 3-hour prescribed run, my pace doesn't change. I can really hone in on my race pace, my forever pace, so I can get that dial leading up to the race I'm training for. And as you know, lots of times trail ultra runners, we get caught in that comfortably uncomfortable zone where it's yeah, this feels a little bit fast, but I feel good. But come race day, if we ran that for a 50 miler, we're gonna gas ourselves really early because it's comfortably uncomfortable, if that makes sense. So we taking that edge off of looking at mileage. I run strictly pretty much based on hours. Yes, I do have if I reach a certain mileage first on a timed run, then I'm gonna just call it quits and say, okay, good, this is good for me. I know I'm gonna recover after. I want to give my body ample time to recover, because recovery is just as important as getting in your long run. Okay, so that's enough about that. So what I recommend, and this all depends on your fitness level leading into it. Okay, if you are on the outside spectrum of fitness, if you have more of a hike run mentality going into the 50 miler, where you're gonna do 50-50 hiking and running, then I recommend your longest run should be 5 or 6 hours. Okay, just go out there, and on these long runs, I really creating a loop, a 5 or 6 mile loop that I can do over and over again, so I can set up a makeshift aid station and really dial in my nutrition. This is about average for aid station gaps, distances in when you do your race. So like just a 6-mile loop or 5-mile loop or something like that, some place where I can come back over and over again and treat it like an aid station, where I like set a timer. I want to be in and out in 2 minutes or less. That way I can know how to empty my trash out of my vest, fill my vest or my water bottles in a timely manner, and make sure I'm eating enough along the way too. And then it also gives you nutrition practice, so you can dial in your stomach, practice foods that you might want to take on the race, practice gels, other hydration supplements, or anything like that you can practice on this loop. I've done loops where I've had burritos on one loop, I've had sushi on the next loop, I've had gels on the loop after that, and vice versa, watermelon, you name it. Like, I've tried it from Subway subs to bean and cheese burritos to, like I said, sushi, or just regular race nutrition, gels and chews and stuff like that. Okay, if your fitness level is well and you are coming into this, your fitness before you started your training plan is already pretty good, like maybe you came off a marathon or a 50K and now you're looking to step it up to a 50-miler, then I recommend going out and doing a 50K as a training run. Sign up for a race, do a 50K as a training run. But the important thing to do is do it at your 50-mile pace, because a 50K pace and a 50-mile pace is way different. Depending on the course elevation, you can almost run a 50K at your marathon pace if there's low elevation change. But if there is a lot of elevation, then you're going to be including hiking, you're going to be including walking, and jogging and running the whole time. So, but with a 50-miler, just you're adding those extra 3 or 4 hours on top of the 50K. So we have to compromise and make adjustments for that in our 50K training run. So I like doing this about 6 weeks out from my actual race, so it gives me time to recover after, but still getting in the required volume leading into my peak training before taper. But like I said, I like to do it like 6-7 weeks before the race. That way it gives me time to recover after the 50K. I don't want to run a 50K 2 weeks right before the race and then go straight into my taper, because now my body's trying to recover from the race, but it's taken away from the added gains that the taper is going to give us. So that's why I say do it 6-7 weeks out and then maintain the volume leading up into the 50-miler. So what's the volume? Well, through the USCA certification course that I took, designed by Jason Koop. If you know who Jason Koop is, he's like the the gold standard for ultra coaching, in my opinion. And just the course is amazing. And his recommendations, along with USCA's, and kind of like what I mirror for my athletes, is pretty close. So they recommend running 6 hours per week for your last 3 peak training weeks leading up into your taper. So it might not sound like a lot to some of you, that might sound like a lot, but so what I've found through my athletes and just helping people get through their 50-milers is that if you go a 7, 8, 9, yes, it's a little bit more than the USCA recommended minimum training, but that's the minimum. That's the minimum requirements to get to the finish line. What I've noticed is if we do 7, 8, 9 hours, depending on your fitness level, depending on the time allotments that you have, that these people seem to get better results in the race. They go into it with a higher level of fitness so they can run more, which allows them to finish quicker and enjoy it more. With the minimum requirements, lots of times they end up like walking it out or hiking it out, and then we just end up out there a lot longer. And the longer we're out there, the more time it is, more toll it takes on our body. So thanks for watching this. I hope you have an outstanding 50-mile race, and leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought about this, and also like subscribe and all that other stuff that you're supposed to do on YouTube. But more importantly, I want to invite you to join our trail and ultra running mastermind. I know you're going to get your socks blown off of it. There's just so much good stuff in there. You're around like-minded people like you who are training, have big goals, big achievements, and the power of a mastermind is that we get to talk to each other. You get, like I said, to learn from these other athletes and coaches and nutritionists and physical therapists, and bring them to you. My goal is to give you more than just more. So MyEnduranceLife.com, click on join the team, and if you're ready to run 100K, I made a video about what should my longest run leading up to my 100K be, so you can watch that next. Talk to you soon.